probably rubbed into somebody when he passed him. It's got him thinking that since he rubbed into him, maybe a tire's rubbing. But I don't, if it is, he can't tell it. Sometimes, though, they can be rubbing so slightly, and it comes up in the cockpit with you, and you don't see it.
We're hearing that NASCAR has told their officials around the racetrack to look at the right rear of the 20, but boy, Matt Kenseth in the 17, he's in his own little time zone. He's about the only car on the racetrack right now that's even in the 29-second bracket. Last lap, 29.88. Most everybody else in the top 5 or 6 in the 30-second bracket.
I think Gordon is going to get Rusty Wallace this time. This is for 5th place.
You can tell Rusty's loose, Darrell, because where Jeff picks up so much ground is getting in the corner. And you cannot be loose here driving in these corners 190-something miles an hour.
I know Rusty's probably pulling his hair out because I think about the number of times that he's made adjustments at the end of the day, and it felt like it might have bitten him. Today, he maybe should have made an adjustment, and he hadn't, and it looks like it might bite him.
Steve, Tony Stewart's crew has tires up on the wall. Any more chatter about a possible rub?
Yeah, Mike, there, matter of fact, the spotter, everybody on pit road looking at the car. There's also a Jumbotron, a big screen, right behind their pit, so the crew's watching the car on the big screen. They have noticed a slight sheet metal curl. They said it was on the right front, Mike. You mentioned the right rear, but they seem to think it's on the right front. But Tony has also said that he doesn't see any more smoke, so he's just going to keep driving through it.
Well, these radials are so tough. The sidewalls are so tough that they'll make their own clearance.
Speaking of tough, Jeff Gordon, he's been picking a car off about every 2 laps. He just went by Jimmy Spencer for the 4th position. Matt Yoakum.
Well, he is on the move, Larry, and you mentioned earlier about the 24 looking a little loose. He did come on the radio and tell his crew chief, Robbie Lewis, that he felt like the car was looser on this set of tires than the last set.
Think it's the tires or think it's the track?
I think it's a combination, yeah. But I think the track is probably the biggest thing based on information that we've gathered over the last 2 or 3 days.
Yeah, I think it's the track. But being a little bit loose and moving forward like he is obviously better than being tight and having to lift up out of the throttle when you exit the corner.
Well,
so
right now,
hang on to it. That's the way to go.
Even though we're looking at Fox tracks, even though he's got a fast race car, he's still ever so slightly losing ground to Matt Kenseth. The last time by, he was 0.2 of a second slower than Matt Kenseth on lap 296.
He's coming off of turn 2. Kenseth's coming off of turn 4. Got a long way to go.
We've got 38 laps to go and one more set of pit stops. So we're going to take our last break before the checkered flag so we can watch all this unfold with you. You're watching NASCAR on FX. Fifth place, Mark Martin working over Rusty Wallace. 33 laps to go here in Texas.
Mark's really turned it up. I mean, he's been coming on strong these last several laps.
One pit stop to go. Jeff Green's just made his.
And what he did, they came to pit road with about 33 laps to go. And Darrell, this is where you're going to have to work with me, buddy. Track position's important. I'm going to put 2 right side tires on. You make a little adjustment to free that car up. You're going to have to do your job now for about 30 laps for me.
I can live with 2 right side tires now.
Track position. Because we don't need but a little under a can of fuel. We only need to be there about 8 or 9, 10 seconds.
Yeah, make the best stop you can under green.
Mark Martin moves up into the top 5. Matt Kenseth laps past Michael Waltrip.
Yeah, it's loose in.
And it's about time to play dodgeball on pit road. Jeremy Mayfield will be the first of those.
That should mean Elliott can't be too far behind. They've been coming in pretty close together all day long.
There is Bill Elliott.
Going down the back toward turn 3 here.
He's the 9th place car. Sterling Marlin in another Dodge is 10th.
And Terry Labonte is 11th. He came to pit road and topped off with 1 to go about lap 258. He's going to be able to pit probably with about 10 laps to go. A little bit of splash of gas and go there.
That'll work for him.
Dale Jarrett has led the most laps today, 134 of them, but then ran out of gas. He is 2 laps down as he makes his final stop. Matt Kenseth looking for win number 2. Here's Jimmy Johnson, the 8th place car.
Yeah, he's been falling back a little bit, Jimmy has. Doesn't seem to be quite as good as he was earlier on after this last stop. probably going to make an adjustment on his car.
And what these crew chiefs have to be careful, we know we have to stop. Let's don't run it too close to the edge and take a chance of running out of fuel.
Not now.
We know we have to come, so let's come a lap or two early. Make sure we don't run out of fuel. Because if these cars start pushing, it'll use more fuel. You're bogging the motor down more.
It's probably time to talk about parity. Ford, this Pontiac, a Chevy, and a Dodge in the front four.
Not too bad.
The Chevys got a rule break between Bristol and this race, Larry.
What they let them do, it wasn't that they let them pull the bottom of the valence out more. And while we were talking about that, I think that was Kurt Busch in the 97 car. He was all the way up against the wall, turn 2. But they have a measurement from the 10-inch point of the roof where they measure the roof height to the tip of the front valence. The Chevrolet was the shortest at 99 inches.
And in trouble is Busch. He had a tire going down.
Caution is out. Caution is out.
Caution's out.
Boy, that slow spin that he did with that tire down allowed everybody to work their way past him.
And who pays the price? Jeff Green, for one.
Yes, he does. And Dale Jarrett, who was already 2 laps down.
Busch climbed the hill in turn 2. Might have rushed the wall, but in any case cut down a tire and spun it up in 3 and 4.
Boy, when these races go green like this, there's nothing better than a car that gets good gas mileage.
This is the 7th caution of the day. And here's what happened.
We saw it happen. Larry called it down here in turn 2. He got up high, and you see he's wobbling.
Now, Darrell, is he trying to feel it out to see if he has a flat?
No, he knows it's flat. He's trying to get to the bottom right there. I think he probably knew it down here in the corner, Mike, when he went up high. He knew something was wrong. But that slew, boy, Terry Labonte. I'm not so sure he didn't scrape it with Terry Labonte.
I think so.
We have 12 cars on the lead lap. We're going to have about 25 laps to go. Tony Stewart, Matt Kenseth, they have to change 4 tires. I feel like most everybody will, but you never know. Somebody in the back, a little bit of gamble, maybe try to get that track position with 2 tires.
Now's when you could talk me into 2 tires if I was running back there, maybe into Terry Labonte or Bobby or Sterling Marlin or Jimmy Johnson range.
Well, there are the leaders. Kenseth, Stewart, and Gordon, the front 3. Spencer is 4th.
Think back to last year here, guys. Johnny Benson took 2 tires about this point of the race. Larry and I stood over here and said, they can't do that. And he near won it.
Dick Berggren.
Well, the original plan for Matt Kenseth was to put 4 tires on the car. Kenseth came on the radio and said, let's try 2. That's what they did. They faked 4, but they took just 2. Kenseth, a good shot to Steve.
Air pressure adjustment for Tony Stewart, Dick. They're going to go up a pound on 3 tires and 2 pounds in the right front, so he's not loose. Matt Yoakum.
Just like last year on his last stop, Jeff Gordon's only going to go with a 2-tire stop, and he is down and away.
Kenseth wins the race off pit road. Then Jeff Gordon, then Mark Martin, Jimmy Spencer, Ricky Rudd, and Bill Elliott.
Think back to last year. Johnny Benson took 2, took the lead. We thought he was going to pull it off. Dale Jarrett took 4, and right at the end of the run, right near the end of the race, he took the lead and won it on 4 tires.
And Jimmy Spencer took 2 tires as well in the 41 car. The more cars that took 2 tires, the better off for those guys that did. That puts the people with 4 tires behind them here probably with less than 20 laps to go.
Here are your lead lap cars. Stewart, Kenseth, Martin, Spencer, Rudd, Johnson, Elliott, Kenseth, Wallace, Marlin, Labonte, Skinner. Let's ride along with Rusty Wallace. Kurt Busch had his problem.
Low, inside, another one, inside. Good job, you cleared him, clear.
Little help from Earl Barber, Rusty Wallace's spotter on top of the roof here.
Caution came out quickly. No one had a chance to get a lap back from the leader. And there's the resultant damage to Kurt Busch.
Oh, you got to know.
Now, in front,
know when to hold them.
In front of the leaders will be Jeff Green and Jeremy Mayfield on the tail end of the lead lap.
Still fighting to try to catch that caution before the leaders can get back by.
Well, when you get this late in the race, 20 laps to go, everybody's going to be doing all they can. Holy cow, what happened to him?
All right, you see the NASCAR official right there waving. You got to get in your box. You got to get in your box.
Well, they've got...
There you go. I'll get in it this way.
They had just the right rear outside the pit box.
And by rule, the right rear can be out of the pit box.
I thought he was probably okay.
little parallel parking there on pit road.
Of course, it was just always my nature to disagree with the guy in the red suit.
Don't do that next Saturday, Darrell.
Oh, I'm trying not to.
Darrell's going to drive in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race next Saturday in Martinsville.
My duckhead footwear Dodge.
And after yesterday's exchange, he doesn't know it yet, but Kevin Harvick's going to have a new crew chief, Chris Myers.
Chris Myers going to be his crew chief?
We're working on it.
Yeah, well, you know, Myers is good on reading notes, so.
I hate to tell you this, but I was going to be his crew chief, but I've got to go to Nashville for that Busch race on FX.
Next week, we'll have Winston Cup qualifying for you on Fox Sports Net Friday afternoon. And then on Saturday, the NASCAR Busch Series from Nashville on FX and Winston Cup practice for Martinsville on FX. On Sunday, NASCAR This Morning on Fox Sports Net, the Winston Cup race presented by Yamaha on FX, and Victory Lane All Access Elliott Stadler on Fox Sports Net. We're not going to tell Harvick, but right before the race starts, Chris is going to climb up on the war wagon and depose Kevin's crew chief and put on the headset. And then we'll see.
I was wondering how I was going to get even with Harvick, and that's going to do it.
Okay, don't tell, folks. It's a secret.
All right, now since we're within the 25 lap to go rule, only lead lap cars can line up to the outside. Technically, Jeff Green is a lead lap car. In the 30 car, he's at the tail end of the lead lap, so he can line up in front of Matt Kenseth. Jeremy Mayfield, 2 laps down, he has to go to the inside, and look who's in second place, the man with the flames.
See, he's doing just what I thought I would have done this too. I'll take the inside going into turn 1. Move down there and restart on the end. It's like being on the pole. You got a better shot of winning the drag race on the inside, you're on the outside.
Now, Tony Stewart, that extra work in the pits is what dropped him back to 8th. He's up.
20 laps to go, back in 8th place. Got 4 tires. He might be able to make it, but I doubt it.
Of course, Mark Martin in that 6 car changing 2 tires as well. We've got about 4 or 5 cars up there that has 2 tires.
You know, I saw a poll this morning on the Inside NASCAR, I think it was, said that the fans thought Jeff Gordon was going to win today.
Ready, and
well, we've got 22 laps to find out. Good clean restart. Jeff Green unable to take advantage of the race leader, and Matt Kenseth heads him off toward turn 3.
I think that's your 2 best cars out front right now from what I've been watching. The question is, can Gordon get after that 17 car? 17 car has been by far and away the best car in the latter part of the race. And he's out front in that beautiful clean air.
And the cars with 4 fresh tires have not yet cleared the traffic.
And one thing that Jeff Gordon has fought race after race is not having a very good car behind the car, but I was explaining before Kurt Busch spun out, they let the Monte Carlo stretch the front end out another 1.25 inches. More front downforce in traffic was where they hoped it was going to help them the most.
Chevrolet hoping for their first win of the season.
looking good, man.
Matt Kenseth hoping for his 2nd win of the year.
Problem you have here is everybody's racing. Everybody's racing somebody. You're either racing with the cars a lap down or racing with cars 2 laps down. When you're back in the pack like Tony Stewart is, it makes it difficult to move forward.
There you see the miles per hour, about 83 miles an hour at the start-finish line. 193 for Gordon, 195. This is down in the middle of turn 1 and 2. There you see Matt Kenseth, 3 miles an hour faster down in the corner, coming up off of turn 2. 3 miles an hour faster than Jeff Gordon.
And it really shows, too. You can see that gap between